Meanwhile, we present to you the adventures of the magical gay goth boy and his sassy lesbian ghost witch auntie. Agatha, it's my first time at a gay bar. Should I be a bottom?
Honey, take a look in the mirror. You were born a bottom. You chopping? Yeah, right.
Agatha, I'm in my first real relationship. How do I not screw this up?
What are you talking about? Hey, if you kiss him and you don't drop dead, you're doing better than I did. Just do what us lesbians do. Second date, move in.
And Agatha, he wants us to be in an open relationship? What are the rules with that? Should I have a three-way?
Honey, I don't have a three-way. Have a five-way. Tell them you want to do a witch's road.
Oh no, Agatha, Trump won and now they're canceling gay marriage. Should I warp reality? What do I do?
I don't know. Maybe get out of that back room doing a bunch of poppers with those trinks for starters.
I'm just like my mother.
You are.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 322 of Comic Book Queer's Legacy. I am your host, Brett, and with me, as always, is our lovely and talented co-host, EvilJeff. EvilJeff, how are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm amazing. We are recording this the night before election night.
I know, right? Yeah, so when this comes
just,
out...
We don't know what future we'll be in.
Yeah, we don't know what future is going to be.
We'll be in limbo. We'll be in limbo because we're not going to take long to edit this, and we're not going to get the results for quite some time.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true either, actually.
But anyway, I'm also very depressed, not only because we're leaving spooky season bad, we're entering
I didn't watch
cold
enough horror
weather
movies.
bad.
Oh.
We are entering Thanksgiving fun, but the most depressing thing is we now have ended what's probably going to be my favorite show of the year when we do our end of Agatha All Along.
Ending Agatha bad. That's right. But Agatha All Along, having been in our lives, good. Very good. And we are so excited to catch up. We have not talked about the finale, you and I, at all.
No.
There's
two episodes, two
episodes to talk about. I'm glad we didn't jump right into it. Like, we didn't record right away because we've had time to process. We've had time to, discover things online. So we're going to have a fruitful conversation.
Yes. All right. Well, I guess, do you want to start it with a slide?
Let's do
there
it.
We go.
So that's our cast. That's the first thing I kind of want to thank and express gratitude for is this lovely cast of women and their ward, Joe Locke.
Did you hear the interview with Jack about the cast member that was going to be in this that wasn't?
No. Wanda?
From She-Hulk.
Oh, Madison. Oh, the 616 anchor being. Yes, Madison. Yes.
Can you imagine?
That would have taken me out, honestly.
Oh, but she wouldn't have been like a main character. It would have been like...
No, she would have been... I know, but Madison's tone is She-Hulk. Madison was not this tone.
I, as someone who knows Patty Guggenheim, she could handle the transition of making it play both ways.
Of making it fit into this, the witches milieu.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, she's not in it. And actually, I have to say, I'm annoyed with all of the pieces online, mostly out of Jack's mouth, some of them out of Jack's mouth, that's well, this is what we were gonna do. You know, why does that have to be the post-show narrative these days? Well, you really liked the show?
I think it's because so many people were like, I wanted this and I wanted this. And they're like, well, we were going to do some of that, but then we couldn't. We ended up having to do this.
And now we just proactively come out with well, you know what we were going to do?
Oh, because I have tons of disappointments with the show. AKA, also spoilers. This will be completely spoiled.
Oh, this is a deep dive into the show.
You're an idiot. But I
or you just didn't have time.
I wanted Wanda or Tommy to show up.
I did not want those. I did not want those
but
because
I did. But
I know
that's the other
that's
thing.
next.
But it was fine. I still fine. Next, when you tell me I have to wait, it's all about waiting.
It's all about waiting. It's all about waiting. So thank you, cast. This was one of. So, we're in a world where this might be my favorite thing Marvel has ever done. So I want that to be the lens through which you hear me.
Do you feel this is better than WandaVision?
The WandaVision and Agatha are the same thing. That's like saying, what do you like better, the front of your dog or the back of your dog? Well, obviously is the answer.
Well,
is the
I
front,
feel like it's the thing
dog.
because I think because WandaVision set the tone. Wanda's still number one. This is number two. A lot of people are like, could this be better than Loki? I'm like,
100%, friends.
Yeah. Loki is
100%.
not that great. Sorry.
In fact, Agatha, it was reported today, I think, that Agatha got the same Rotten Tomato score as Loki. So by the end of its run, Loki had an 82%, so does Agatha. And I'm like, Agatha is so much better than Loki season 2. Like, Loki season 2, of course, is beautiful and creative and well made and well performed. But overall, as like a piece of storytelling, you're kind of like, what? Huh?
Also, can we talk about the ratings? The ratings have increased as the show went on. More and more people were watching it, and it ended up being a hit. It also was the cheapest show. It was the cheapest series that they did, and it's one of their bigger hits. And so suddenly, have you seen those articles that before it came out, like, this is guaranteed to be the least watched show?
The least watched show. Mm-hmm.
Idiots. And people don't realize, like, if you hire good TV writers that know what they're doing and also know how the story is going to be from beginning to end, because guess what else this show had? I was talking to a friend who worked on set. My one friend who he had given me a lot of inside tea that I had to pretend not to know.
Ooh.
But
You withheld from me?
Yeah. No, I think I told you off.
No, you told me everything.
I told you off. But anyway, he also said, because he works behind the scenes, he knows about the reshoots. What's the one thing we heard about Marvel reshoots? They would reshoot. Daredevil's not working. Let's just reshoot the whole thing. They almost shot nothing. The
Giancarlo Esposito was reshooting Captain America.
The part where they're in the car, where Agatha and Teen are driving looking for the coven, a lot of that ended up having to be reshoots because they had to like rewrite some of the plotting of like what they were talking about. But other than that, there were like almost no reshoots. So this was like a very finely well-oiled machine. But this is also something, you know who else can learn? And it's not about gay men. It's not about straight men. It's about men. And I think these men, Ryan Murphy, because I feel like it's like Kevin Feige and Ryan Murphy have this, we'll figure out how to end it. I'm not really sure, but it's a cool idea. Murphy, we'll figure out how to end it in the writer's room. No. What's Jack's last name? Who creates this show? Jack Schaefer. 100%, they knew everything because there are pieces and kernels and Easter eggs from the very beginning. And I have not watched it again, front to back, but I am going to. But I have seen when you rewatch certain scenes, knowing that spoilers, knew that the road wasn't real. It is a completely different experience to rewatch the show again, knowing what you know.
Not only that the road wasn't real, but her whole background with Nikki and how all of that went down and how the song came about. You have to watch the show a second time because they give you all of the context you need to know at the end, which is the most brilliant, A, not storytelling device, B, subversion of the Marvel formula. They gave you the typical Marvel ending in episode 8. Yeah. And then they were like, but then guess what we're going to do? We're going to reframe the whole fucking show. And it's genius.
Let's go through this episode 8. Wait, how many episodes were there?
It was 8 and 9.
8 and 9. So let's go through episode 8. Before Jen and Billy meet up, they're kind of still by the stairway, just like Jen's like recovering from losing.
She's
Lilia.
mourning Lilia, trying to get back in, and then the door turns to a wall. So she's gone.
Yeah. And also, I never thought about it where when she was in that tower, I know she was the Snow White witch, but I never thought about the Snow White witch like selling the poisoned apple, and she like sold like fake
The poison. She was the poison
products.
witch.
Yeah, she was like the spell poison, like it called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
What a
oh,
great
that
connection.
does make so
That's
much
fun.
sense that she was
Yeah,
the Snow White witch.
that's the why that she was. Yeah.
And but before that, Agatha finally meets up with Rio. And
Yes.
later on,
And they
I'm
make a
going to be
deal.
jumping back and forth because there's so many connections. People have been mad that they don't go into them meeting and how they met. I feel we know. We kind of get it. I think their relationship is very clear. We didn't have to see them falling in love as death and all. You know what I mean? I get it. I get what the relationship is. I didn't need that.
Yeah, I
Right?
didn't either, and I didn't need to see them do the relationshipy stuff, get into a fight, overtly say how the kid was created, which is an implication that she didn't have a father. But I didn't need more. I liked being in media res with those two.
Well, I think she did have a father. I think it was Rio.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
All right. Anyway, they get
From
into a
death,
fight,
life.
and Rio is like, "You were hiding Billy from me. He's an abomination. He escaped death. He shouldn't be real. But if I just kill him, he'll just go into another body. He'll just reincarnate somewhere else, and then I have to find him again. So he needs to surrender to me." And she's like, "All right, here's the deal." Agatha's like, "I will surrender him. I'll get him to surrender to you, but you stay away from me." And I think this is also where you realize, like, when she finds her to kill her, that's their romance. That's the song and dance that they do. That wasn't like, "This is the time, I'm here to kill you now." That's part of the whole relationship that they have.
That's
It's
their
fucked
game.
up.
That's their game.
Yeah.
And Agatha says, you have to end the game. You have to stop pursuing me, is the way she articulates it.
And
which is
when I
devastating.
die, I don't want you to be the one to take me
You
to
can't
the other
take this
side.
form. I don't want to see. She says, I don't want to see this face. Any other face.
Well, is she
Any
the
other face.
only death, or is there like a bunch of deaths?
I think she's Lady Death. I think she's the personification of death. Which is different than Gila, which is, like a
The
goddess,
queen of the
like someone who
underworld.
claims death as
Yeah.
their kind of avatar,
Yeah.
But no, I think she is the one and only. The original Green Witch thing, that's something I would like no, you know what? I don't need it. Like, Green Witch was obviously like about life, and if she was the original one, obviously something happened maybe that made her then the bringer of souls, the reaper.
Well, I think
But
it takes you back to like Adam and Eve, where they're like, nobody got sick, nobody died, there was nothing, and then that happened. It makes me almost feel like it's very connected to, like, she would be like Lilith.
100%,
Or
like the most
something in a
ancient
way.
of ancient.
Yeah. Oh, and before that, we also which episode do we see Alice? Was this episode too?
That was this episode, yeah, early on.
That's
in
kind
this
of how it
episode.
actually opened. And I do like, because poor Alice, like, is like, I had the curse lifted.
I'm so glad they
How could I-
addressed this. I'm so glad
How could
that
I
they,
die right after the curse was lifted? That's not fair. And she's like, but you got your power to be a protection witch, and then you died protecting people. And it was
the
like,
implication there is like you
yeah.
fulfilled your purpose. So, come on. And then they really do turn into like green smoke
Mm-hmm.
when they walk out into the ether.
Farts.
They become farts. Yeah. Yep. So that scene's very heartbreaking, but it really gives you a nice sense of closure. And then we get to what we think could be the next trial, but it's not, because it's the beginning of the road again.
And they're freaking out, and they're like, what the fuck do we do? And Agatha's like, let's fucking do it again. And
You see the
Wait.
shoes, the shoes of the people who've died, which really hits
Yes.
home that
And then she says, why don't you get him bronzed, which is foreshadowing.
oh, very much so. Yeah.
Who puts them on? Agatha puts the shoe on first, though, right?
No, it's and second time I was like, oh wait, pay attention. Was it Billy again? And it's Billy again.
It is Billy. Okay.
It's Billy. And then he's the first one to wake up
So
out of
Billy
body
is the
bag.
first one to wake up. Yeah.
Billy
And it turns out,
officially prompts every trial. Officially.
Yeah, and he's like, screw the road. I don't need to honor and listen to the road. But when they put on the shoes, that's the beginning of the trial. And I do think there is something of his power, of him being like the demiurge, of there is a cosmic power, which some people are saying they're wondering, like, did Wanda even create him, or is he a cosmic being that saw Wanda's creation and then brought to life there? Because the road is so complicated that it's beyond of things that he even knew. It kind of like almost like AI'd and figured out a bunch
like it
of
did
other
its own
things
thing.
itself.
It's like, okay,
yeah.
I get what I'm supposed to be for. I got it from here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but he puts on those shoes and then he enters in. It's almost like a weird asylum with greenery lights, and they have to like grow something.
Out
But
of
the
a
Green Witch,
lifeless environment.
the Green Witch is fucking gone. And this is actually my favorite part of the entire this episode.
I stood up.
Like, Sashir Zameda gives
Yeah.
a fucking
Yes.
masterclass here, and as someone who was just like on SNL, you weren't gonna think I cried, like she made me cry,
Yes.
and she made you believe it, because that's the thing is like there's also a very important thing that I was saying. I was gonna be so angry if every female died protecting this boy. I just didn't like the optics of that. You know what I mean?
I
didn't
completely
like the
agree.
optics.
But instead, they
And they
gave
were like-
us one of our
they
favorite
gave us-
concepts, the final girl.
The final girl, and also especially with she was just had so much trauma that kind of made her an asshole. Like she was a charlatan. But when they talked about their history, she was like, I was a root worker. It was a lot of stuff very much of like black themed witchcraft and stuff like that.
Yes.
So you see a
Life
lot
bringer.
of like very traumatic things that this woman has been fucked over.
For
And then you
100
find
years.
out Agatha's the one that did it.
Right. And so, the subtext of this scene of Jen then unbinding herself, knowing that it was Agatha, and therefore she knows the ritual to get her power back. I mean, the subtext of a black woman taking her agency back from a white woman it was so powerful, and it was just so well played.
And she doesn't have purple. She's got pink. Her powers are pink.
And she officially has the prettiest magic in the Marvel Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fairy magic, let's go.
And here's the other thing that's great. And some people are saying this was her. Some people are saying Billy did this. I don't care. But I like the idea that she said, I'm going to save you two people. I'm not going to let you die. But it starts feeding into that whole, the magical black person
Absolutely.
saving the day and
Yep.
sacrifice. And I was like, I don't want the black person to sacrifice themselves. She got her powers and she left. It was like, whoop.
It definitely.
And she left. And I love that she had
I
her
love
go.
it.
Look, she got it. She
like, "All
solved
right, I'm
the
out.
road. She
I'm out.
solved the
Done.
road.
Bye."
She's gone.
Yeah. I love that idea of like, did she have something to do with her own disappearance? Did she decide? Of course, the road is. Billy was like, I have a concept. And the road was like, again, I'll take it from here. I can execute. And then, was the road like, this is my programming? Like once they get it, then they go, or was Jen like, peace?
Yeah, I love that. And then Billy is like, okay, now what? And so she's like,
Closure
gonna
for
help.
you now.
closure for you. Let's find Tommy. And this part made me cry too.
This was powerful when he yells that question. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I got chills.
Wait, which question are you talking about?
Well, they do a ritual.
Oh, you're talking about the very end? Like, am I
At the
killing this
climax of
boy?
the ritual.
Oh, am I killing this boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's looking for. He basically
Ooh.
starts looking for a body of a teen boy that's
Looking
about
for a
to
boy that's
die,
dying.
so that Tommy can enter it. And then he's like, "Am I murdering this boy?
Yeah.
so that my brother can live?" And
Yeah.
then he
does-
finds him. He bolts away.
He bolts away, but also knowing that he put his brother in the most abusive of situations. He put his brother in a situation where he was bullied to death by family members, neighbors.
It seemed like it was his friend, like school friends or something.
Yeah.
They were like swimming.
Holy shit. So that's going to be a horrible life. It's almost as if he needs to run away. Sorry, I should have looked.
Wait,
there.
the Runaways, is that like...
No, that's his powers. Speed.
Oh, Speed. Right.
But that was so. But yeah, what am I killing? Are we killing this boy? Oh my god!
And then she's like, no,
"Probably a little."
sometimes boys just die.
She said, sometimes boys die.
And that's her whole thing with her story with her son.
Can I bring this up
Sometimes
now?
boys just die. Yeah.
When she was, was it after the trial where Alice's trial where Billy got injured, and then they fixed him and he was sleeping and she was awake. Agatha was awake, looking over his sleeping body with like crazy concern. Now we know why. She was watching him like a hawk.
Because the last
as
time
he
she
slept
fell
after
asleep.
his near death. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the last time she fell asleep, she lost her son while he was sleeping. God fucking, oh my God. There's so many moments like that. Okay. Where are we?
She ends up, she's now alone.
She's alone.
And she takes the last of her Wait, how did she, what was her?
She takes her brooch.
The brooch. And she pulls out a
sniffs
dandelion.
Nicholas's hair. And she has a dandelion seed that they
and uses her tear to wet it.
And
after the two people left, it kind of put a crack, so there's a bit of soil.
Oh, when Billy was doing the Tommy ritual, he cracked. Yeah.
And so she's able to grow a dandelion, and she's able to escape the road. And it just takes her just out of her house. Like she's
when
now
they
just
get
like,
to
yeah.
When they get to the road, she's like, it's kind of just like my basement, because it was her basement. She comes out of her basement. The last trial was her basement. Just like she was walking around Ralph Boner's house in the beginning of Mayor of Easttown, where like, that's not a mirror, that's a painting. You know, it was the same kind of like mapping over the reality they were in, the space they were in.
Reminds me of, did you ever see Svenkmeyer, the Czechoslovakian puppet? He's like kind of like a puppet filmmaker that does stop animation, and it's called Alice, and it's his version of Alice in Wonderland. It's called, I think it's just called Alice. Svenkmeyer. It was made in the 60s or 70s, like late 60s, early 70s. But in it, she goes into the attic, and basically the entire trip that she has is Alice in Wonderland. It's all things in the attic, like the caterpillars,
just walking around the attic.
socks.
Yeah.
But it all forms from the things in the attic. Like, oh, it's really cool.
That's what happens when you do acid.
I was trying to convince someone not to do acid last
Did
night.
they do the acid?
No, he was just saying that he's done shrooms and now he wants to do acid, and I was like,
oh,
no, it's a very different.
Oh, honey, you
and
are
I
very
was like,
different
and it's
people.
not, and I'd say if you were like 20, go ahead and try and do acid. But
Yeah,
this
no.
person's almost 40.
Oh, no.
Don't do acid when you're 40.
No. You need a week. Oh my God.
Yeah. Also,
Oof.
anyway.
Anyway.
But now she gets out there, but Rio's like, you didn't fulfill, you were supposed to give him to me.
She's like, where is he?
Now I'm gonna
take
kill
you.
you.
I'm gonna take you instead.
Coward.
Hit the jack. That was a fun moment. I was hoping it was a little more climactic, but hey. That's my one complaint.
And then Billy shows up, or shall we say Wiccan shows up.
Now, this is where I got emotional too, because when he floated down in that cute little Wiccan costume, I was like, he looks so good. It's him. It's Wiccan. Oh God. I can't believe it's Wiccan. I can't believe
It's so funny. I had another friend where they were like, that took me out of it. Why is he wearing a superhero outfit? He wouldn't have gone and gotten a superhero. And I was like, you shut up. I needed to see that.
What do you think you're watching? There has to be a superhero.
But no, there's a
in it.
lot of friends
It's the
that I know
rule.
that don't. This is their kind of first. They've watched only WandaVision and this, and they
Which is
haven't
why
watched
the ratings
anything
were so
else.
high, because you didn't have to see much else.
But that superhero stuff takes them out of it, because they're like, oh, is this just dumb
yeah.
superhero stuff? And you're like, yeah, bitch, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's our little gay superhero, and there he is. There he
But
is, floating on
he
down.
shows up.
But his entrance was so cunty. He like all of a sudden like all the lights start bursting and like the house, like all the lights light up in the house. I wish he would have been like, "Let there be light" when he floated down.
Yeah, floats in.
Floats in. He goes,
Fucks
"Hi.
up Rio, gives her powers, and is like, "Don't suck me dry."
Don't suck me dry."
She stops, which she has other. I mean, she wasn't even able to do it in time for Alice, but she was able to do it for him.
She was able to do it in time for him. Yeah.
And
'Cause
then
she
they're
loves
all
him.
just kind of fighting, and finally, this is the part where it's like Marvel fighting. They have to give you all of this.
They didn't
And
give you
it's
much.
fun.
You know, Billy kind of
It's
tosses
fun.
death aside, and then she's like, "We can't fight death. Like, what are we doing?"
Yeah, one of us has to. One of us has to give it up.
Yeah. And this one was a little strange too for me, honestly, when she was like, "It will be me," and then for honestly, the weird part was then he gets up and he's like, "Take me," because I was like,
And then
I
she's
thought you
like,
two had an
"Great."
agreement, and then she's like, "Okay, cool." I would have. It was, I don't know. It was odd.
I agree because I was like, either she wouldn't have said, "Take
God,
me"
we're
in the
not even-
first place,
Look at this.
or did she ever really mean? Did she ever really mean? Yeah, go ahead. Did she really even mean that? I don't know if she ever even meant it.
Right, but like, I was like, she doesn't mean it. But then it wasn't until he was like, "Agatha, is this how Nikki died?" And then she like had a change of heart. I was like, wait, why is she having a change of heart? I thought,
I think, well, maybe
was
it
odd.
is just in the end when the chips get down, she wants to
She
run.
is.
She
Yeah.
wants to like cover her own
and
ass.
I think you're totally right. I think that's it. I think it's like, that's who she is. Like in a crisis, unfortunately, that's who comes out.
And then she just runs and does a fucking kiss of death. Like a literal kiss of death. Lesbian kissing.
Suicide by Aubrey Plaza's mouth. which-
Lesbians.
What a way to
Which
go.
also means they never kissed. I couldn't do that kind of relationship.
No.
I could not do that kind
Did
of
they
relationship.
never kiss?
Well, it sounds like
I
if she
think-
kisses you, you die.
I thought like Agatha actively was taking her power, which I think I was kind of hoping like they've kissed, but like Agatha doesn't take her power. But this time Agatha was like, "I'm taking your power."
I don't know. It could. I mean, maybe.
I don't know. They've never kissed.
They
They've
just,
they just emotionally fulfill each other.
they just
What
ate
kind
each
of
other's
nonsense
pussies.
is that?
It was just oral.
Oh, that's hot.
And that's how she got pregnant.
Probably. Isn't that how lesbians get pregnant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scissoring. She dies and turns into mushrooms, and then I'm like, ooh, sell those.
Right? I bet those are good. Sassy anyway.
It's so funny. I was with a bunch of people, and they were like, yeah, oh. Like, I think they didn't. I kind of was like, oh, she's going to die.
Oh, she's dying.
But I think a lot of people didn't realize that. And then when she fell back and started, like, literally
Turning into grass.
disintegrating like that fox. You know that fox that, like...
From the 9 Inch Nails video?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my imitation of it.
Oh my God. You and I should go on a game show.
Oh my God, last night it was my husband's birthday and people were like, Joe was like, let's play improv games. And half my friends that are comedy people were like, no. And he's
I
like,
would have
I want to
left.
do improv games. But I was like, let's just do like mind meld. I feel like that's like the least egregious.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
love
getting
that.
all of them
I
on the
missed that.
second.
I missed
I
that.
was getting it all. My favorite one is someone said sitcom. I said booger. And then the second one, we went 1, 2, 3, Roseanne.
Amazing.
Anyway, she's fucking dead. And then Billy,
Agatha's
who flew in, was like, ugh, but I left my car here.
I got to take my car.
Someone did complain about that on TikTok where they're like, he flew in. Why did he have to drive away? I'm like, because his car was already there. I think he was like, oh yeah, my car's here. I should probably
Also,
take
like-
that back home.
I'll no prize it. He gave Agatha a lot of his power. You know?
No, but I think
Sure, it
his
takes a lot
car
of juice to
literally,
fly.
I think his car was literally there the whole time.
Oh, so he had to take it.
So he had to take it because
He
he
drove there
drove
before
back.
he became Wicked.
Yeah, when he went on the road. Yeah. I think when he was returned, he might have been returned back home. We don't even know where he was
I
returned.
honestly think there's something really great about a superhero getting in a car, looking all defeated, and driving away.
And all the poor neighbors are just like,
Again, the neighbors, the West. Oh, when
I'm
they cut to
surprised
the
we
Westview
didn't see.
neighbors.
Did we see the husband of Sharon? Or was that even really her husband?
Who knows? But no.
Poor Sharon Davis.
Poor Sharon Davis. Poor Lilia Calderu. But is this where Billy makes the monument of them? He closes the door to the road.
No. Before that's the next episode.
Oh, wait.
Let's get to the end of this
one ends with
episode.
my
Where the big
favorite.
twist.
Can I tell you
Did you
something?
see this coming? Because I watch New Rock Stars, and so this was kind of hinted for a while that this was the case.
100% no. I did not see this coming.
Oh,
and I
shit.
went
Okay.
wild. You know, the last time I went wild like this was The Usual Suspects.
Well, I mean, that's what that was referencing. It was
That
literally
100%
redoing
was
the
the
end
Kaiser
of Usual
Soze scene.
Suspects.
Oh,
Yeah.
100. Oh,
But yeah, it turns out Billy has the powers of Wanda. So he's able to create realities, and he created the motherfucking road.
season 2, the same
created it.
damn show. Listen, this is WandaVision season 2. That's it. That's what this is. And it's so great. It's so great. It's the same fucking thing. What a twist.
Yeah, it turns out it's all just the things from his imagination. You saw the bronzed shoes.
Subconscious.
You see the Ouija board. You see all of the posters.
The leaves
He created,
that is hanging down.
Yeah, it was just, he created the road.
And if you think about it, the clue for me was, and this is like a Quanon Betsy Braddock thing. Like, how much of you is Betsy Braddock and how much of you is Quanon? Like, how much of you is Billy Kaplan and how much of you is Billy Maximoff? Because it was Billy Kaplan, it was William Kaplan that referenced Argento. And then you had the Suspiria-based set of Alice's trial. And, like, Billy Kaplan was the guy that knew who Argento was. And then he created that set, which was exactly Suspiria. So I don't know. How much of Billy Kaplan's in there?
I was not... I'd heard people saying, oh, he created it because he's a reality warper. I'd seen those takes on it, but I was like, no, but he's not evil. He would be evil. Because in my head, it was like, if he created, he knew he created. But this is the thing, is he did not know that he created
Just like Wanda.
And that was the twist for me. I was like, there's no way he created it because he seems like he doesn't know what's going on.
Clumsy. Yeah.
So he accidentally created the road.
And he did it out of fear and like hopelessness for finding his brother, but it had to be like the scare of the Salem 7.
The Salem 7. No, because that's the thing, is the road did not show up until his life was in danger, and he
exactly.
Oh my God, I'm going to die. I need to get to that road right now.
Yeah, he just wished it into existence.
And so now Agatha shows up as a ghost, and that's although we don't even exactly
see her
that
yet. We hear boo, which is a
but
great opening line
we
for a
go
ghost.
back into the past in episode 9, and
right. So this is how we even know in the first place that Billy created. Like we technically don't even.
We don't know anything. We're like, is this wasn't the real road? Was there another real road? Well, bitch, we find out about that. She is pregnant, sucking on a lemon, and then some assholes were already like, lemons weren't there in Massachusetts, and you're like, in that year, you're like, really? That's what you're gonna harp on? She's giving birth, and the birth is going wrong, and Rio shows up, and it looks like, yeah, this baby's not gonna live. And
Agatha pleads, no, please don't take her.
And she's like, she's like, well, I have to take him, but I'll just wait a bit. Which is terrible. And it reminds me now, because later where you don't know what they're talking about, but the fight they had in the previous episode when it was just the two of them before Jen and Billy.
You gave me
where
nothing,
she was like,
you took.
She goes, you gave me nothing. Because in the end, she basically loved this thing unconditionally, and then she just took it all away at such a young age.
Do you think that the kiss was also forgiveness? Because I do.
Possibly. Yes, I think so. And then this is where when she finally grants her that time, she gives birth and says, I made it I made you from scratch, which is why it's Nicholas Scratch. But that's where I feel like then Rio was the, because that's the other thing is, what year is this? Is this the
This was like 1750.
1750? The Salem witch trials happened in the 1600s.
Right. Yeah.
So this is 100 years later. And I am 100% convinced they are putting her to death because they found out about her affair with Death. I think that's what's going on. Or do you think that's the first time Death showed up, or that's how they met?
No, I think they have a deep history, and like when we see her appear before her when she's about to die in childbirth, or he's about to die in childbirth, I think they have a long history at that point. I think Rio's absolutely
no, but I mean just your theory of how they met, since that isn't shown how they met.
I think Agatha started killing witches centuries before, or
so you think it's even before she was put on trial?
Yeah, I think Agatha has just been killing witches because it is a instinctual thing that she can't help.
And then Rio was very drawn to that
because the bodies are falling at her feet. This is my whole theory about Agatha being a mutant, because she's got this siphoning thing that she can't turn off.
Yeah, that no other witches really have.
Why does she have this born
but was
power?
She, of the different trials, was she called a blood witch?
Spirit.
Because here's the thing: is when
did they
she's
ever call
talking,
her like a blank witch? I think like she
they
spirit.
said this is the blood trial, so it's Agatha.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is when she's talking to her son, and she was like, I can't protect you, because she's not a protection witch. She was like, I can't heal you, because she's not a green witch. And she's like, and I cannot divine when it's coming.
Her coven. Those are the three powers of the witches in her coven. Like the thing she can't do, she needed in the coven: a protection witch, a life giver, potions, and divination. Lilia. That's
yeah. And so she so this kid basically is like grows up while she's like killing the witches, and he's helping her actually kill the witches.
Sustenance from it. Like that's kind of another implication, is that if she doesn't do it, he gets sick and dies. They never outright explain that, but they give it to you when he's a baby and he won't stop crying.
And now here is the part I don't understand. And I need you to no prize it for me.
Here we go.
She killed 2 separate covens of witches and they did not blast her. How?
Right.
She can only she needs to be blasted.
So
and I think
second time I watched,
I think that is a mistake.
Second time I watched, they don't show it. And I'm like, okay, like
they literally run that one where he leads them into the house. They literally run in and start screaming in pain immediately.
There's
no time
they
for
follow
them to
her.
blast.
They follow her off camera. They go into the room, but the camera's outside the door.
I know, but they basically are being murdered. But they're screaming in pain almost immediately.
You're right. Yeah.
There's no time for them to blast.
And
then the other one where she goes into that woods with those groups of witches, they're all being friendly to her, so they have no reason to suddenly blast her.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was one thing where I'm like, especially because later on they very much set it up that she needs to be blasted in order to suck the powers away.
They set that up like from the beginning.
But yeah, she literally says that to Lilia, of like why she can't actually like hurt her. But then comes, and this is the part I've watched over and over and over and over.
I've watched this so many times.
Oh wait, well let's get to him dying. If you
the
notice,
kid dies.
But it's the day where he's like, let's not kill witches tonight. Can we not kill a witch tonight? And it's
also the day, we haven't mentioned that while they're living together, they're creating and honing this song.
Yeah, that's
right.
He makes up the song.
He makes up the song and is like, down the windy road. It's so innocent and it's just about him. And then the first thing she adds to it, it's a classic yes and exercise. The first thing she does is she goes, are you walking the road alone? And then down we go, down the windy road. He starts using we and talking about a group of people. Eventually that will become about covens.
And it's funny because Jennifer Kale was like fighting with her over the lyrics
when they
in an earlier
dared
episode.
fight with her over the lyrics. In
And
those
fucking
previous
Agatha's like,
episodes.
bitch, I fucking know the lyrics. Okay,
That's another
don't even
like
start with
major
me.
reframe. Is like anytime somebody's correcting her on how the road works. Oh my god, she's fucking making it up. Every time she
But
says
here's the thing
road
is-
will try each of us, she's making it up.
But the one thing that they always said is you're the only one who's ever been able to survive. When all the coven forms and they go to the road, you're the only one who comes back. Well, we fucking find out.
Here's why.
She fucking...
No road.
It's a con. Let's
It's
go
lore.
on the road.
It's lore that was created.
And then she's like, you're a bunch of dumb fucking bitches. And here's the other thing. People are like, why are they blasting her? She's purposely looking for asshole witches. Like she's finding asshole witches that are like ready to shoot her at a moment's notice where they're like,
Oh, right.
she's like, you guys suck. They're like, like she's real trigger happy witches. So a lot of it's like
do you
is that
remember-
her fault or is that you?
In that early episode, Patti LuPone is like, don't fire at her. She's just trying to get us to fire at her to suck our power. Like Patti LuPone sees it immediately.
Exactly.
Why did
And that's why
none
I'm like,
of those other
because they were fucking trigger happy cunts.
But they
Okay.
had heard about her at that point. Like Patti LuPone was like, you have a reputation at this point. Like you're
Yeah.
a witch killer.
And so the fun thing is for me, if you go through fashion changes over time,
To a song.
I'm 100% here for that 100% of the time.
Thank you.
I can
Add
watch
my
shit
favorite
like that.
song, Heightened, to operatic levels.
Yeah. My only complaint was because what we see is it starts, she's in the 1750s. She does the down, down, down the road, kills those witches. It suddenly becomes the 1850s. Then it becomes the 1920s. Then it becomes the 1990s. My only complaint, I wanted a 1960s. I wanted a 1950s housewives.
Oh, not enough.
I just was like, give me it
more.
all.
To
I
really
want all the
mirror-
fashions.
To mirror WandaVision. Like give us each of those eras that she was in WandaVision. Oh,
Yes. Oh my God, that'd be great. I mean,
but so
for
great. It
me,
was great.
as soon as it turned to the third, was that 30s or 40s? Like
it was like
30s,
40s, I think.
40s.
Yeah.
But when it hit the 90s and
When she
they're
looked like
in the,
a little crafty, a little.
it was
a little
very
like that.
crafty with the jean, but with the rosaries. It was like, oh, this is such 90s witch bullshit.
And she looked dykey as hell in everything. In the
Yes.
most beautiful, wonderful, powerful way. Oh, she looks so
It
good. And like the
was-
30s, 40s one.
Yeah. And also, she is a horrible person. She is a villain. And this is a masterclass in writing of how to get you to root for a villain.
The fact that you
I
just
love
said
this
she's a
character.
villain is the first time that sentence ever popped in my head. Like,
No, she is a bad
they're
guy.
so good at it. She's a Marvel villain. Like, if you didn't see this from her perspective, she would just be a mid-tier
Evil.
Marvel villain.
A crazy, horrible, evil person. And I think one of the real ways you get out of this is by saving Jennifer Kale. And that's when Billy is like, if I made the road, that means I murdered all those witches. And she tries to be like, no,
No,
you didn't.
they
Like,
chose
you didn't
it.
know.
I killed one.
Like, yeah, I killed one. Lilia chose this. And she's like, but I was going to kill them all.
I was going to kill them all immediately.
I was going to kill all of them. So you actually saved.
What was
one
she
of
going to do
them.
with Sharon Davis? She was going to murder Sharon Davis too.
Well, Sharon Davis can't shoot powers at her. So I
No,
think
I know.
she would have.
She's shoot her with a knife.
No, I think she would have been like, go home. And all those corpse
guess.
witches, she would have
I
been
mean,
like,
listen, it's not as bad as what Wanda did to you, right? Go home.
I know. So, but this scene where fucking Jen comes out under the ground. Oh, there she is, the 90s
do I have it?
one.
I have it.
Here it is.
Yeah,
when
there's the 90s
she
one.
comes out of the ground. So she's amazing.
She said you saved a life too. She's like, you didn't just don't think of it
And
that way.
here's
think,
the
think of it that
irony.
you saved a life.
Because I also kind of want a sequel because she thinks
She thinks
she
the road's
is
real.
she thinks the road is real, and she thinks
Yeah.
she is the first witch other than Agatha to survive the road.
And she's got a little bit of a charlatan scam artist in her, so she's gonna milk that shit. She's gonna tell that story. But let me tell you something: the road is real. like,
well, it's real now.
he
And that's
shut
the
the
thing is
door,
going
but-
forward, I think because the fact that he closed it with that spell, if you dug that up, that shit is all still there. I think the road is now just a thing that exists in this universe because
it's kind of like how he created America Chavez's homeworld in the comics. As the Demiurge, he's responsible for was the utopian parallel or something like that. Like that world where only women live. Like he's responsible for everything all the life in that world, including America. So they did it
fucking
a different way in the
Jennifer,
MCU.
Yeah, exactly. But Jennifer flying away like the Scarlet Witch flew away, like kind of using
Hell
the
yeah.
powers in the same. And it's just showing you like, oh, she was a fucking powerful witch.
Yeah.
And so but here's the thing. You were like, she has a little charlatan in her. I think she is a good guy now. I think that charlatan's over.
I hope so.
I think she's
But,
a full-on good guy. But look at the arc that she had. She was the first one to run away from every single trial. And in the very end, she's like, I'm going to fucking save your asses. And yes, she fucking zipped and bounced, but that was partially Billy being like, you solved it. But I want her to come back so bad. And I already know, I don't know, but hello, what bad guy is she the only person in the entire universe to mention in the MCU that's going to be showing up in a show soon? Mephisto. And what show are they showing up in? Ironheart. Jennifer Kale showing up in Ironheart.
Let's go.
That seems like a fucking no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer, especially with the hit. Like if they're going to do reshoots of Ironheart, it's because they're adding Jennifer Kale into Ironheart. Please, please, please. Please.
Like you're going to go up against Mephisto and you don't want to have a fucking powerful ass witch?
Do you know who Jennifer Kale's cousin is? Speaking of Mephisto and
Who?
fire, which there's a lot of fire in the Ironheart trailer, by the way. Jennifer Kale's cousin is Johnny Blaze.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Jennifer Kale, do you know what team she's on?
what?
The Midnight Suns with
right.
Man-Thing and, well, I'm MCUing a little. Man-Thing, Werewolf by
And
Night.
Blade.
Like,
Fucking
Blade,
add her.
like, that's
add
her
her to
corner.
that shit.
That's her corner. She's part of the Monster Corner.
Yeah, bring it. Anyway, I fucking love her.
I love her. I loved her character. I love that she survived, that she was our final girl. I love her pretty pink magic. I love that she's going to get added to shit. You know what else I loved? I loved that when her necklace, I just read this online, like her necklace, she had that like spider necklace that went around like that. It was like symbolic of her being caged and bound and trapped. These little touches. I'm telling you, this show might be number one. I don't know.
And then it ends with Agatha is too scared to cross over. I think
She can't
because
face
of Rio,
her son.
and she can't face her son. I think Rio is also a huge part of that, because I think it's the reason she's a ghost is Rio's like, I'm gonna leave. You said you didn't want to see my face, so I'm just gonna leave you to roam, bitch. I think it's Rio's last play to be like, come and call for me, and then I'll bring you over. So she's just
100%.
gonna,
and she
she's
knew
just gonna
it.
fucking she's just gonna fucking hang out with Billy, and she's
And
like,
also, her
let's go
mom's a
find your
ghost.
brother.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you always become your mother.
The key here, though, is if you noticed, they purposely always said things like the Scarlet Witch is gone.
Did you read that? That they were forced by Marvel Studios to use that word.
They never say dead, but nothing is revealed. I thought there'd be some reveal here that she was alive. I really wanted there to be a post-credit scene.
I can't believe there was no post-credit scene.
Yeah, that was crazy.
There
And
was-
apparently
there-
she wrote them, and then they took them all out.
Yeah, there was going to be one of Jen, actually, of Jen tracking down the doctor that took her, who's alive still for some reason. Yeah, that was shocking. No post-credit scene was jarring. What happened there?
I guess they could have at least had the doctor scene, because that wouldn't affect anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that we ended up with Ghost Witch Agatha, because I really do think like this is the magical
the
gay goth
nanny.
boy and his sassy lesbian ghost witch auntie.
Ghost
That's
Nanny.
that's a magical Disney. Like that's a winning formula right there. That's a really good winning formula. And then she can just show up anywhere. Like wherever he goes, she can just pop up instead of having to travel with him. It's perfect.
Yeah. Me and my friend Allie wrote a spec script back in like 2010. Our own pilot script called Crushed Under the Waves of Desire. And it was about an old soap opera actress that got replaced with someone 20 years younger. You know how they always like, now this
Like
character is
Soap Dish?
played by this person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she gets replaced, so she gets fired, and she doesn't have any money, so she's forced to move in to the pool house of her rich sister. But her gay 14-year-old nephew has been living there. And he's like, I'm not moving out. And she's like, fine. And so it's literally just
It's a
like
winning
50-year-old
formula.
like a 50-year-old soap opera actress and then a goth 14-year-old gay
This
boy.
is my dream.
This reminds me of that.
This is absolutely my dream. Yes. Give the queers what they want. These two, this campy nephew and aunt duo, they're going to show up in Marvel stuff moving forward because they're such a hit. And we're going to freak out every time.
And here's the thing. I think they realized there's two things that can get you a hit. If you have lots of star power and reveals and like Iron Man's showing up, Wanda's showing up. Oh, look who it's this. But they were
if
never
you
doing
connect
that.
it. Yeah.
But they're not doing any of that. So the
Deliberately
only
not.
other thing you can do is have good, solid writing. They're like,
Yes.
wow, we can't believe that there were gays and lesbians. If this was written terribly, it would have done badly.
Notice
it
how
wasn't like
nobody-
this was gay, and so now gays are going to watch it. They watched it because it was good.
Everybody watched it.
I think that's the one thing I hate where people talk about woke culture. Just because something is woke doesn't make it good. It still has to be written well. And if something is written well, no one cares if it's woke because it's fucking good. Anyway.
Yeah,
I'm
quality
off my
overtakes
soapbox.
all of that stuff.
Exactly.
All of that stuff. Everybody loves this show. It got an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not high enough.
Well, I mean, this is with an active incel
Oh, isn't that just...
smear campaign.
No. Isn't that just critics? That's just reviews, right? Isn't that the Rotten Tomatoes
Girl,
score?
the incels are in those critics too.
Girl, they really are.
Yeah. Those straight boys are... Ugh.
I made a list of Marvel rankings the other day. I moved some things around.
Of MCU?
Yeah,
Okay. A TV
And-
or movie or all together?
all together now.
All right. Where are we at? Are you going to reveal some of these?
When I made the list, I was in a place where my number one MCU thing of all time was Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Number 2, WandaVision. Number 3, Agatha All Along. There will be days
Wow. So I'm surprised Endgame and Infinity War
right after.
aren't up there. Oh, okay. I was like, that's pretty up there for me too.
Right after.
That's probably pretty similar to mine, I think.
You want my
Although,
top
no.
10?
I would not put Winter Soldier that high. That would be behind.
It's my number
them.
one.
I liked Civil War better than Winter Soldier, but we fought about this many a time.
We fought about this many times. I am sick of this fight. I'm not having this fight.
I
with you anymore.
love Winter Soldier. It's just not my favorite. I think you just have some feelings about the Winter
it's not
Soldier.
Sebastian Stan. I think it is just the best made thing that they've ever done. But here I am now thinking it's WandaVision, Agatha All Along, Winter Soldier, or it's Agatha All Along, Winter Soldier, WandaVision. I don't know. But those are my top 3.
How do we feel about Vision Quest?
We're feeling good. Do we feel that we care enough about White Vision's story?
No.
His quest for humanity? That's where I'm at.
I think the
You
problem
better Tommy it up, bitches.
I think it needs to be...
Tommy it up.
I want him to meet a boy that was being bullied and he needs help. And then he's not realizing it's his son. Like, I need some sort of other connection going on.
Well, I would love it if they had parallel A plot, B plot, like Billy, Agatha, Tommy, Vision, and then at a midway point, they collide.
But what if like Viv shows up, or what if he tries to?
Oh my God!
Or what if it's
No,
like WandaVision,
listen.
where he tries to
Wait.
make the family, the robot
Listen,
family?
if we do that Vision series, the Tom King Vision series, I don't give a shit about Tommy. I don't give a shit about Billy. I don't give a shit about Agatha.
That'll be good
I will
too.
watch the shit out of that.
Yeah. So
Because
I love kind of
that's-
the idea of like it's this whole Maximoff dynasty of like trying to recreate reality because they're just a broken family. I think that's kind of an amazing trilogy of
It's
watching
the new
people
Infinity
try to
Stone.
recreate their family.
They
Yeah.
were collecting Maximovs like Infinity Stones.
Oh, that would
Speaking
be
of
good.
the Wanda corner of the universe, what do we
Yeah.
think of the Wonder Man trailer? Or not trailer, the Wonder Man scenes.
I think it looks really fun.
Fun. Trevor
It looks fun,
Kingsley?
like because it's like, oh, they're taking the whole thing of him being an actor. How
He's, like,
does he
reading
get
for
his
the part of-
powers?
I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, even in the comics, do you know how he got his powers?
No, not sure.
So is this about him like reading for the part of something and then he ends up getting those powers? Or do you think he always has those powers? That's
Ooh, I
the
don't
one thing I'm
know.
kind of curious about.
I
But
don't
I mean,
know.
he's also really hot, so
He's really hot. You know, that bitch has played Dr. Manhattan and Black Manta.
Yeah, let him play a good guy.
Let him play a good guy. My top 10, ready? Right now.
Okay.
Number 1, Winter Soldier. Number 2, WandaVision. Number 3, Agatha All Along. Number 4, Endgame. Number 5, The Avengers. Number 6, Avengers Infinity War. Number 7, Spider-Man No Way Home. Number 8, Hawkeye. Number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 10, Werewolf by Night.
That's a good list.
a
That's
good
a good
list.
list.
It's
I
a tough
think
list
I would
to
have
make.
wait, which Spider-Man one do you have?
The Toby and Andrew.
I really like the second one too.
Really, Jake?
I
Top
did
10?
like that one.
Top
I
10?
think it-
You're going to top 10 it? You're going to put that over
Maybe.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
maybe over Winter Soldier.
You are a sassy lesbian ghost witch auntie.
Oh, but you know what? After this final episode, do you know who finally caved and came over to the Agatha All Along is a good show?
Joe?
My husband.
Good. Not mine.
He likes it
mine,
now.
I was like, do you want to watch? I had already seen it. And I'm like, do you want to watch the last 2 Agathas? He's like, yeah. Granted, he did have an early road trip the next day. Long story.
Fall asleep.
No, he just didn't pay attention. He kept getting up. He was on his phone. He was like unpacking and packing again, would sit down, be on his phone. Let me tell you what willpower it takes for me to just sit there and watch and be unburdened by what this man is doing around me. And I just did that. I didn't say a damn thing, and I'm so proud.
No, me and Joe have a thing where we're like, this show is important to me, so you can't be on your phone. Like if there's certain shows where like I'm showing you this show, and he's done that to me too, because there's times where I'm like, he's like, no. I'm showing you this, and it will bother me if you start not paying it, if you like don't pay attention to it. But we have to say that ahead of time so that we like know the deal.
Yeah. I cannot get away with that with Marvel because I think the unspoken truth in this household, one that never dare be uttered in the light
And he
of day.
doesn't really give a shit.
He doesn't like Marvel.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Marvel Studios.
And it's
Like
the
I
one
think he
thing-
actively like does not like it.
And he's
And
just,
we
if he
persevere.
says that, then you have to get a divorce.
If he says it out loud, I'm just gonna look down.
Literally,
and be
your
like, why did you have
rings,
to
like,
say it out loud?
Your
And
rings
then I will
go
leave.
and poof,
Yeah.
turn into smoke.
Yep.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, our husbands, Jeff and
Oh,
Joe.
our
It's
husbands.
weird that
Oh,
our
this gay,
husbands' name
childless
are the name
life.
of my relationship. Jeff and Joe.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe 3 should have a 3-way.
My friends would love to have 3-ways with you. When you came, all of my friends were like, where are these hot friends that you were hiding? I'm like, they live in New York. Now shut up.
Ooh.
Talk about how I'm pretty.
I would have slept with a lot of your friends.
Oh, I
wish
know.
knew.
I know.
Hmm.
And I
Maybe it's time to
cock-blocked
take another
all
trip
of
out
it.
there.
No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe it's time to take
No, I
another
didn't.
trip out there.
No, if you could, yeah. Oh, sure. No, all my friends were like, they're all so handsome.
Oh.
Such a you are a very handsome couple.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you. We try. This old thing, stop. All right.
So now I think
Oh.
starting next week,
Yeah.
we need to get into the Penguin. So we're gonna finally start talking about
Girl,
the Penguin.
you and I know for a fact that you and I are individually both very into the Penguin. I'm not caught up on the latest episode, but
Oh,
I hear it is.
I'm not even caught up on like the second episode. I haven't watched anything. I've only watched the first episode that we talked about.
Are you kidding? You don't
Yeah.
know how good the Penguin
No,
is yet?
shh,
I'm so excited.
no, I know because every time I get a TikTok with like Christine Milioti, she's so fucking. I'm like, I don't want to see. I'm not caught up yet.
Christine Milioti is a gift to us. She's a gift bestowed onto us by Robert Pattinson. What is his name? The guy that did the Robert Pattinson one. A gift.
There's
Matt Reeves.
also a show that you might be interested that I'm just gonna bring up right now. It's called The Devil's Hour. It's the old guy that was Doctor Who a couple of years
Peter
ago.
Capaldi.
Yes. And the reason I think you might be interested in it is he basically has the powers of Moira McTaggart.
Ooh, Moira.
So it's basically a man who, as soon as he dies, he starts his life over.
Moira. Ooh, I
And
love a
it's
Moira
kind
show.
of like, it's basically kind of, but he's the villain in a weird way. And it's
Ooh, just
basically
like
centered
Agatha All
on,
Along.
it's centered on this one woman, and her relationship between him and this guy. And then you start seeing the different timelines
Interesting.
of his different lives and how she's different in those different things.
Ooh.
It's really good. It's good.
Okay.
The Devil's Hour.
Did you see Trap?
No, I haven't yet. Everyone's saying I need to see it because it's
So I watched it.
ridiculous.
I watched
I
it.
heard it's ridiculous that it was actually still kind of entertaining. Did you think it was just garbage?
No, I
or
liked
were
it.
you Oh,
'Cause
okay.
Understand my expectations going into an M. Night film
so
are
low.
so
Yeah.
low. So
That's
low.
what people say. They're like, if you try to like, if you're like, I don't care if anything makes sense, you'll think it's really fun.
100%. And I don't even think it was that outlandish, honestly. Like, yeah, like there's, like things happen coincidentally and it's like lucky him. But that's kind of the point is he's this guy with this eternal fucking luck. And that was kind of what.
Yeah, but
loved about
sometimes you want to know a movie that's amazing that makes no sense and has a billion plot holes. Speed with
100%.
Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, and that movie's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
Trap is.
Sometimes
is
sometimes you
kinda
just
great.
need to.
Trap
Sometimes
has
you
this
need to
thing
just
where
go
it's
with the
like-
fun. Yeah,
Trap is it's like once it's on cable. Well, I don't even know if this is a thing anymore, but it's just gonna, it's a cult classic. It's a cult classic. It'll find its people. Anyway,
I think that's
Trap.
it. We did it.
All right. Oh, Josh Hartnett also shirtless.
That's my one regret as I was waiting when I used to work in porn and I named porn stars. I was waiting for a porn star that looked like Josh Hartnett and I was going to name him Jock Hartnett.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be a great porn star name?
Way to subvert my expectation and not go with Hardnet.
Well, I didn't
That's
want to
where
be
I
too
thought you were
punny. You
going.
still want to
Yeah.
you still want it to sound like a real name.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's shrewd.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Although I just found out that a guy who has the same name as a porn star that I named is mad at me.
A porn star that I can't. How many porn stars have you named? Wait, who's mad at you?
Well, not mad at me. This is my the person I used to work with, Nick Leone, who listens to this podcast. He told me
Hi,
that
Nick.
there's a DJ named Dan Darlington.
Okay.
But Dan Darlington years ago met a friend of mine, and my friend was like, I just met someone named Dan Darlington. And I'm like, that is an amazing porn name. And so I met
You
so
used
there was
it.
a porn star, and I was like, you're Dan Darlington. But
You
now
used
that
it.
real DJ Dan Darlington is mad that you always see the porn star Dan Darlington when you Google him.
Oh,
Whoops.
my God.
Sorry, Dan Darlington. I love
Sorry.
you.
It was EvilJeff all along. How about that also? Wait, how about also like it wasn't a Witch's Road, it was Agatha All Along. Like they paid off the fucking title.
Yeah. It was Agatha. Yeah, there wasn't a Witch's Road. It was just Agatha all along.
It was just Agatha All Along.
And it just makes it so much more. I can't wait to rewatch the show knowing that she knows this isn't real.
And knowing
And
that she
kind
knows
of-
Billy created it.
And they're all going like, what do we do? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I don't have any fucking idea.
Literally making it up. And then like when they're in a bind, there must be so many moments where she's looking at Billy like, what are you gonna fucking do? What are you gonna fucking do?
Well, that's when Sharon Davis dies, and she
And
goes,
she's like, I didn't think you had it in you.
I didn't think you had it in you. And that's where I had said previously, she's talking to Billy. He killed her. But then it was like, no, he's good. And then it's like, yeah, he was good, but he technically, yeah, he did kill her.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I love this
Marvel.
show. And you know why I love this show? Because this is where you go. This is the end game of if you read comics. You get Agatha All Along.
Yeah.
Because if you watched Agatha All Along,
Yeah.
well, then that makes you
What?
queer. Bye.
Listen, bye.
Damn.